for one role, you're like, I want that one is so me, like that's my type. And then you get something like way off the spectrum of what you were expecting, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I get the chance to like kind of spread my wings or try something different. And so I never kind of really set expectations that way, and I'm just grateful to get a role in general.
And there are parts that I wanted and that I didn't get. For sure, I mean, I want the lead in every chance that I can have. I always want the lead. Yeah. But sometimes you're just not right for the lead. It's just not who you are. There's someone that might do it better. And the only thing, like, what's way worse than not getting a part that you wanted is getting that part and failing at it. Mm-hmm. And just, you have to trust that your directors like you and are putting you in the right place. And just getting any part in a show feels great.
Have you ever been recast?
Totally, twice.
Twice, me too.
Oh yeah?
That happens, and that's...
Yeah, and I didn't get told I was recast. I was recast in an episode of Space Dandy, and I watched the episode on Toonami, and I was like, that's not me. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they don't tell you. You just sort of find out, like, oh, there was only one time they did tell me because they recast me in the same show.
So they did that to me in World Break, but he didn't say anything about it. He like brought me in one day, and he's like, okay, you're this giant...
It's usually when there's a new director.
This was Tyler. He just like...
Oh, he was like, never mind.
He gave me one part, and then I didn't hear anything back. We did like a few lines on it one day, and then I came back, and he's like, oh, you're this character. Like, this is the same show.
So that happens too, and then you're like, oh, hey, I sucked at that.
Who?
Oh, you.
Favorite horror movie? What's your favorite scary movie?
Horror
Have you
movie?
seen Cabin in the Woods?
Uh-oh,
No, I don't like scary movies.
I guess because it's like, I don't really like horror movies anyway, and that's why I like Cabin in the Woods.
I like those religious, psychological thrillers. I don't know why, like I really like those, but names are not coming to mind.
Evil Dead.
No.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, that's mine.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was like, no, that's not one of them.
Or Bad Taste. Has anyone seen Bad Taste? That was Peter Jackson's first film. They used over 30 gallons of pig's blood to make that movie.
Oh, well, it can't be worse than Dead Alive.
I don't know.
No one's seen Dead Alive.
Wait a minute, is that the one with the cemetery? Have you seen Cemetery Man?
No.
Cemetery
Man?
I think I've seen The Cemetery.
No, this is different. No, this is different. Oh, Pet Cemetery, yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of, Stephen King. Right?
I thought that might be what you're
Sorry.
Now we're going on another tangent.
Sorry.
Okay, this goes for the both of you. Have you ever experienced or witnessed a paranormal or supernatural activity in your life? And if not, would you be willing to do any kind of conjuring challenge, like say Bloody Mary or Charlie challenge?
I used to be really freaked out by Bloody Mary when I was a kid.
Ouch.
But I don't know, I'm kind of, the older I get, the more nihilistic I am. I'm just like, meh. I've also been in a lot of altered states and convinced myself of a lot of things, so I don't believe anything anymore.
Truth with Austin Tindle.
I told you.
I don't know. I really, really, really want to, but I've been told by like medium type people that I'm not like open enough to experience it for whatever reason, because like I 100% want to like have an experience like that. And I have a friend named Leah Clark who is obsessed. She's a voice actress as well. She what does she know? She's done so many things. Blair from Soul Eater might be one of her big ones.
Yeah.
But she's obsessed with this stuff, like, and she like even she takes frequent trips to this haunted hotel in Fort Worth, Texas. Called Miss Molly's, I think, and she made me go once, and she just wants to like film things and like try and find little ghost particles floating in the air and like bring a Ouija board and do all kinds of things. So like, yeah, because she also lived in a place where like people who quote unquote were open to it like come in and they're like, oh, I saw that lady in the kitchen, like I saw that ghost lady in the kitchen, and I'm like, I never see her. So I don't know. I think maybe I want it too much and like the ghosts know that or whatever. But I kind of have like a view that like maybe they're not ghosts, or maybe it's just some weird like interdimensional like
Yeah.
situation.
Or did you ever see that episode of Doctor Who where they had those communicators and they like tapped into your consciousness to help you communicate with other people, and like people would die but they would still be talking, like their consciousnness would live inside the radio for a little bit, like it's like leftover like electromagnetic waves and beta waves and gamma waves that it's like it's like when a bubble full of smoke bursts, and for a few seconds that smoke is still shaped like the bubble, but then it dissipates. That's like what a soul is. I don't know. You know?
Well, I heard about like in San Antonio. My dad took me to this spot where there was a neighborhood, and there was a bus like that was like stuck in the middle of the train tracks. A train like crashed into him, and all the kids died. And the ghosts would, and when you get to that, the ghosts would like push the cars like across the train tracks. It's pretty.
What's funny is he's talking about an experience about ghosts pushing a car, and I had a similar place when I grew up. There was a place that did that exact same thing, and I think it's just a very, very slow decline of a hill.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you had a question too.
I do have a question. How long are you guys going to stay today? Are you going to watch the Wolf's Children that they're going to show later on?
I asked someone earlier if the stuff that they show in that room is sub or dub. Do you guys know?
It's the dub.
Everything's dub?
Dub.
Cool.
I want to do something fun, but like I slacked off last night, and I have to do a bunch of like writing and planning of things, and I was supposed to Skype with 2 different directors yesterday, and I totally blew both of them off because we were having margaritas at a restaurant. So probably not.
I have to like get a nap in because I'm gonna live tweet my show tonight, which is at midnight, which is Michiko and Hachin on Toonami. So I want to be able to live tweet that.
Man, Toonami, I was watching Cartoon Network last night at 1:10 in the morning, and it was like, here's the Saturday night lineup, Michiko and Hachin at 1 a.m. I was like, it's 1:10. You're playing Bob's Burgers. What's going on?
Well, it's
Different time
It was
zones.
Friday,
different time zones.
but it was also Friday.
What is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be earlier?
Yeah, it's 1 a.m. Eastern.
I don't watch cable anymore.
I only know this because of.
So it happened at midnight, but even it didn't say Bob's Burgers at any point in their lineup of things. I was
But
like,
that was what?
I was watching Bob's Burgers on Cartoon Network last
I know,
night.
but that was Friday night. This is tonight. They were talking about the Saturday night lineup.
Yesterday was Friday.
It's because
I want to watch it tonight too.
it's because it's like
Yes.
I'm gonna be live tweeting, and so is Monica, who plays Michiko, and so is Chris Bevins, who's the director and plays someone else.
Who else has a
Sorry.
lovely question for Jade? Okay, you.
What is your favorite creepypasta?
What?
creepypasta.
Do you like pasta that's creepy?
Is that a thing?
Yeah. I think they're
Someone
online.
explain.
They're like online things.
Slenderman.
They're internet scary
Like
stories.
Slenderman.
I don't think we're going to be able to answer that
I'm
question
so
because
sorry, I
we've never
don't
read
know
them.
what that is.
Who else has a question for Jade? Dude, what is your question? We'll see if it's for Jade or not.
You don't watch Steven Universe?
No.
What?
So I don't know. He said something about watching something. Steven the Universe?
Steven Universe.
Is that online or on television?
No.
I don't. Neither of us have cable. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, I don't own a TV. I watch things on a laptop when I can, usually in a hotel room. Yeah, you. All the time.
What's your favorite character in Harry Potter?
I have 2. Don't you get upset with me, Missy. She and I had an argument yesterday. I get into it about Harry Potter. My favorite male character is Hagrid. I love Hagrid. I love him. I have a little Lego Hagrid keychain. My favorite female character is Luna. I love Luna. I love her spirit. I love everything about it. And I love Ivana Lynch and...
Is she the actress that played Luna?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's like not even an actress, she's just Luna.
Yeah,
Like
she
she
is.
had no prior acting experience, she just videotaped herself acting out the scene, and they're like, well, there she is.
Emma.
Yeah. Well, they were such babies, they didn't know how to act. They were just doing, you know. Harry, Daniel Radcliffe and Tom Felton had some experience.
He's the one that plays
Draco.
yeah, Draco.
Bad guy. Yeah.
My favorite character is Draco.
Are you a Slytherin?
Probably. I would be like, Gryffindor, Gryffindor, Gryffindor. He'd be like, Slytherin. No, I'm Hufflepuff, dude.
Are you?
No, that's not true. I'm not hardworking.
I like your characters, but there's a YouTuber named Lucy who kind of looks like her, and she's also really into Harry Potter. So I told her, and she really. What is it?
Isn't that weird? It's like my. Have you seen people that throat sing? I want to learn how to do that.
Tuvon throat singing. It's a thing.
Is that what it's called?
Well, but like there's this thing where you can like go. You go.
Oh yeah, but they can do yeah.
But they can actually do certain specific pitches. I can only sort of do that.
Okay, that's what you can do with phones. Before you have to do some certain pitch or something with phones, and you have to like whistle it. I mean, like.
Oh hey, did you ever hear about? You ever watch? There's a radio show called Radio Lab.
I'm obsessed with Radio Lab. You know I'm obsessed with that. I got to see Jad ever live.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about this. Oh my
Yeah.
god. So did you listen to the one about the guy? And this was back when like dial phones were all like analog.
Mm-hmm.
So the dial tone could be super like you could he could
I did listen
whistle
to
the
like
thing.
yeah. And so he would like he got like in so much trouble, but like he kept doing it, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was amazing.
This guy he like could imitate tones and could make like. Oh, that's what you're talking about? You need to talk louder.
Interrupted me.
I'm sorry. I interrupted you. Yeah.
What is the most embarrassing thing that happened to you
In
in your life?
your life.
I'm not gonna tell you. I don't know. I have embarrassing things happen to me all the time, but once when I was in like 2nd grade, we were in music class, and I farted really, really loudly
Oh my
in
god.
front of the whole class, and everybody like. The teacher couldn't control the class. Everyone was just laughing at me so hard. And I remember this girl, her name was Amanda, and she was sitting right next to me. She was like, and for like 10 years after that, I like held in my farts, really.
Thank God.
But somewhere in my mid-20s, I was like, I'm letting it out. And now I just fart as hard as I can.
It's wonderful, Austin. Good for you. Don't stop it. He's been doing that to me all day, looking over my booth and going, I can't do this.
Well, that's
Thank you. The most embarrassing thing in my life might be this moment. Are you guys familiar with the show MacGyver?
Yes.
Well, I was like super into it when I was like 12 or 13 or 11, middle schooly type person. And my mom and my stepdad like left me in the car because you could like do that back then. I don't know, it wasn't as dangerous. And they went into like, I don't know, Best Buy or someplace they were doing something, and I didn't want to go. And I was like, and there weren't like iPhones or Game Boys or anything. I mean, so you just sat there with your thoughts back then.
I hope I know what you're about to say.
And so I was like, I could listen to the radio. There's a paperclip right there. I'm MacGyver. I'm using the tools that I have to make my life happen. So I decided it would be a great idea to fashion a key and shove it in the ignition of my parents' car to turn on the radio. That didn't work. Nope. And they came out and like I have been stewing, waiting for them to come out for 20 minutes, knowing like the hell that was going to happen because I also could not pull it out. It was stuck in there. It was stuck in the ignition. And so they came out and like they had to hire someone to like totally dismantle like the thing to get it out. It was bad, and so they decided my punishment. I have relatives who are very the type of people to never let anything go, and they decided that my main punishment was going to be that we were going to go see them that weekend already, was to tell them all so that the entire weekend they would just give me crap about it and make fun of me and never let me live it down ever for like the rest of my life.
It's shaped you to this day.
Attention Omnicon attendees. Benjamin, come up to the registration booth. Benjamin, come
Benjamin?
up to the registration booth. of
Benjamin?
Omnicon.
Bueller.
I had this cousin, and like I used to live with my cousin when I was young. My aunt would leave us in the car, because that's what you did. And she had this game that she would play where she would push the lighter in, and then like pull it out and tap it to see if it was hot. And she like burnt herself really badly one time. And I was just sitting there not thinking about it because I was a child. And my aunt came back and found us, and she got so mad at me.